Coming from the Caveman Studios in Buffalo, New York. Welcome to Caveman Corner with your host, Jeff.
Captain Caveman!
Thanks.
Click subscribe and the bell. Do it now!
I'm here live with the one, the only Mason Lewis, going to be the main event in the upcoming K4. Man, how are you feeling?
Great. I've had some good training lately. I feel great with my weight. I feel, clear mentally. I feel great all around.
When you started out, you were basically just a super good wrestler. And as I watch you grow, your striking has gotten better and better and better. Man, you are really starting to turn the corner. When do you think you're going to turn pro?
That question is super. I really don't know. I feel like, mechanically and technically, I'm a professional level fighter, but I still feel like there's some things that I'm doing like outside of, fighting or outside of my mental state that still could be like an amateur level. So I just kind of am keeping my eye open to getting experience in the cage. Not only that, but my coach, like whenever he tells me, that's when we're doing it. So.
Man, you have one of the best camps around. You guys are training on Brojo. You got great striking there, great wrestling, great jujitsu. You just had Eljo drop in. What's it like training with a UFC former champ?
Man, it's super fortunate. Coach Burhands and him used to go way back in the Bomb Squad days. They used to be teammates. My coach was coached by Ryan Ciatoli. He was teammates with John Jones, Aljo, Bellator World Champs. Great fighters. So it's nice getting to learn and train with some high level athletes. Just a few months ago, I trained with Corey Sanhagen, Eddie Alvarez, which was great experience as well. So I've been super fortunate this year to get some high level training in and just kind of learn and like just soak up some information.
That's awesome. I've been to all kinds of fights with you in attendance. And man, you are one of the biggest cheerleaders for your team. You just love the game, dude. And that's one of the things I really love about you is like you're so unselfish with your teammates and with everything going on. Why do you think that you are like you are, dude? Like you just love the game. I don't understand. Like most people are like super serious, but you are just like a big kid that's awesome at fighting. Like how do you maintain that level of like childless enthusiasm, but like seriousness in the cage?
We have a great family at our gym. I consider every single one of those guys, my brothers. So, and not a lot of people in life truly want to see you succeed, but every single one of those guys in that gym wants to see me succeed, and I want to see them succeed as well. So I think it just comes down to, having faith and fun in your training and realizing that like, fighting that this is something that I look to take me far one day and make a living out of this. But at the end of the day, the sun will rise tomorrow. So like I might as well have fun while I'm doing it. That's just kind of my personality. Like I just like having fun with what I'm doing, and if I'm not having fun, then I'm not doing the right thing. And supporting my teammates and helping guys prepare and giving and imitating the looks of their opponents and stuff. That's something I enjoy doing just as much as I enjoy training for myself. So it's super easy to just do that.
It was awesome. We were calling the fights, and you're like up there yelling at us while we're calling the fights when we are upstairs in Rochester. Dude, that
Yeah.
was insane. Like how pumped up you were. It made the whole day just perfect for me. Like just watching how enthusiastic you are to watch your teammates in fights is something that I don't think you get a lot of credit for. You get a lot of credit for being an awesome badass fighter, but like you don't get as much credit as you deserve for being such a good person as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. That means a lot. Something I take pride in is being able to like just be there for my people, make people laugh, be happy. And I think that's the key to life,
It
keeps you
showed
fresh.
in your fights too. You're like one part of Ticklegate that went so viral when you're in a triangle and you're tickling the guy's feet. Did you get in any trouble for that? Is tickling illegal?
No, it's not illegal. It's not illegal. In some cases it could be looked at as like a um like misconduct. I don't know, but in my case I was just trying to get out of a inverted triangle, and well, not only that, but like there wasn't really much action, and I wasn't like in a threat but I couldn't also escape. So I was like, I might as well make some fun out of this and like
Just
so
letting them know that they're stolen. I like that a lot.
yeah, but yeah, it was weird. I don't know.
Have you ever encountered anyone that you have trouble with taking down in the cage? Because you're fighting a very good wrestler in Dogland coming up. How do you think this is going to match up for you on the feet and in the wrestling aspect?
I've never really encountered a human being under like 190 pounds that I've really had trouble getting down unless they were like, a Division 1 wrestler. Other than that, like if you're under like 190, like 9 times out of 10, I'm able to get you down, not with ease. It's going to be harder to get down those big guys, but yeah, I've got to kind of pull tricks out of my sleeve. But it's nice because I can just work my striking. That's what I've been able to do the past few years is really just work my striking, and I don't really have to, shoot too much. Just because I know not many people want to get in that position with me, but I know Chase will want to. He's a good wrestler himself. He's gonna obviously think he's the better wrestler than myself. He's a New York State place winner. He's wrestled at Fargo, one of the best tournaments in the United States in terms of freestyle. So I think he's gonna come in there with some fire under him and have something to prove. But I like that.
And you take it on, obviously another undefeated fighter. Think you're going to be able to put that first loss on his record there?
Yeah, I'm certain I can do that. But I'm also certain that, it's a fight. Anything can happen. He can freaking flying kick me and knock me out, like, but I have faith in my training. I have faith in my coaches, my teammates, my family that like I'm very confident in myself as well. I not cocky but confident. I understand that it's a fight, and a lot of people, to be fair, a lot of people have, you know, thought that this fight was like a mismatch for Chase's side. But I've been telling people like, look, like he's not a slouch. Like every time somebody tells me like, oh, you're gonna crush this guy, like, dude, it's gonna be a war. Like it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be, and same thing on his end too. Like he better like prepare for a war for somebody that's looking to come take his head off. Cause I know he's gonna be thinking the same thing, and he's gonna be preparing to kill me out there. Um and I know that he's got all the skills, all the technique. He's going to game plan well. His coach, John Franchi, he's a mastermind of the sport himself. So they're going to be game planning, perfectly. It's just how you execute that game plan. And when it comes fight night, the guy who executes better is going to win. So
I'm gonna ask you some more detailed questions. If you don't want to answer because of the fight coming up, I'm more than understand. So you can just say, "Nah, I'm not gonna answer that." But
it's fun.
he likes to enter in on the legs a lot. He's more of a leg wrestler, and when he shoots, I imagine you're gonna come up in an over under position, and now it's gonna be a body lock game. Do you think you're gonna be able to win the hip battles and get him on the floor from there, or do you think you're gonna try and break off and strike? How do you think you're gonna neutralize that great like double leg he has? Got a great outside single. He gives a crackdown really well.
Yeah.
A lot of those positions he's really, really strong at. And I've noticed that you're mostly an upper body. You almost look like a Greco guy when you're in there. You just throw everybody, dude. Like you make it look so effortless. But you're able to get your hips in on a lot of the guys. And he's gonna have his hips back off those shots. You think you're gonna be able to get in and up and lift him? Or you think it's gonna be on the wall a lot in this fight?
I personally think, if he gets out on my legs, that's going to be really tough for him. My takedown defense is good, but I'm also prepared to get taken down. I don't mind getting taken down. Sometimes, I think it's better to. It lets me fight off my back, and I've got some slick little submissions and some slick little guard passes from the back, and I just think that, if I want to bump off and strike, if I want to let him in on my legs to pull him up into that over under, like I'm gonna be able to get that. And you know, at the end of the day, like I can sit here and say I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, but I've been preparing to do everything from that position. So, make no mistake, like I've got a game plan, but I've also been sharpening my tools, in every single position possible with Chase because I know he's at some point he's gonna be in on my legs. At some point I might get taken down. At some point he might get taken down. So I've been preparing for literally every possible outcome.
Looking at the fight tape, I called some of Chase's fights. I called some of your fights. I've watched all your fights because we're a big fan. By the way, Mason Lewis won the Caveman Corner submission and night bonus before. We always support him, and hopefully we get him some more money this time because we'll be in full effect. But I've noticed that your striking seems to be much crispier than his. His striking is a little bit more wild. But like you said, he's working with Frenchie, who's an amazing boxing coach. So I imagine you come in there with a little bit better hands. Or do you think you're going to be able to keep it up on the feet? And do you think you're going to be able to dominate him? Like your striking is a lot tighter than his. You keep inside. You move your feet really well with your hands, where he gets a little bit more extended when he's throwing his punches. Do you think you're going to be able to like box him up a little bit?
I mean, I think so. I've been doing exceptionally well, with my striking against every single person in my gym, and people that I've cross trained with. I've been able to outstrike. But at the end of the day, I know he's looking to get better himself, and he's a high level athlete. So I can't imagine that he has regressed or plateaued in his striking. So I'm preparing. I'm not. When we've been preparing for his striking, we haven't been preparing for the striking that you guys, see from him, like the tendencies of him dropping his hands. We've been preparing for the tendencies that he's progressed in his striking and that he's keeping his hands up and that he's keeping guarded and that he's watching the high kicks, that he's watching the teeps, that he's watching those shots. So we've been really, preparing like this is a very high level professional fight.
I love the sound of that, and I can't wait to watch this fight. This is such a highlight fight for me, and I honestly have you coming in as a favorite. I think you have way more experience. He's only got 3 fights. This is only one fight with ground and pound, and that completely changes the game. Are you fully prepared to be on the bottom getting ground and pounded, and are you ready to pound him out as well?
Pause. Yeah.
Ah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not
No,
no
no,
homo. No homo.
I'm just
No
messing
Hey,
homo.
with
No homo.
you.
Pause.
Honestly, honestly, I've been working a lot on my grounded pound. I've been working a lot on my positioning and the mechanics in those positions specifically. Just because that's an aspect of MMA that I feel not enough people train. People think that like if you take him down, it's just gonna be you just start punching him, and that's not the case at all. It's really hard to get somebody down and control the firefight in that position and start landing off those insane punches unless they don't have any grappling at all, then yeah, it might be easy. But an experienced wrestler like Chase himself, it's going to be difficult to just sit there and start landing strikes. But I've got a few tricks up my sleeve that I think will give me the edge in that position, and I don't foresee myself being on bottom. Letting him ground and pound me. Like I cannot see that. But it's a fight, and if that does happen, I will be prepared, and I've been training, in case that does happen. So that's the beautiful thing about this sport is we prepare strategically and we prepare modestly and humbly. So.
Watching you too, he seems like when he's on top trying to enact his ground and pound, seems like he's either too tight or he's have too much space between the hips. Like his head's too far forward, where the weight's like able to let you use your hips to push away, or he's too far back where you're going to be able to get up. Watching you, I see that you control the space really well, but every now and then you get a little too rambunctious and you get a little like I don't know if it's cocky or showmanship, and you leave a lot of space for people to get up too. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out when obviously there's going to be a takedown in this fight or there's just going to be a walk-off knockout. But at some point, there's probably going to hit the mat, and this is one of the most exciting things for me to watch is like how you guys enact this the finish of this fight.
Yeah, I think that with that being said, with his hips getting too far forward or too loose, allowing too much space, I would agree. I think that the fighters that he has faced so far didn't have the grappling that he had, so he knew he could get away with that. But I don't think that's going to be the case this fight. I think he's going to prepare to keep those hips tight and to close the gap on me in those situations if he's there. So I'm fully expecting him to come into this fight as a well skilled fighter in on the ground and on the stand up. He's going to be super reluctant to open his to open his hands. I think just considering the fact of the takedown, but I just can't foresee myself staying on the ground if I do get there. If he does take me down, I my takedown get up is phenomenal. So I don't foresee that being like an issue for me. But if it is, I'll be ready.
And for you, when you're on top, are you gonna look for controlling him a little bit more and slowing down the pace, or are you gonna look to finish him and maybe give him an opportunity to get up?
Finish, 100% finish. Sometimes I let him up and then I like to slam him after. That's more so just for like the showman aspect. I understand that grappling can be a not so entertaining style of fighting sometimes. So I have to kind of make amends with myself and give up some position to cause some wows in the crowd. But that's also come back to bite me in the butt. I've done that before and knocked myself out from doing that.
I was
So.
there for that one, man. That was sad. I tried to talk to you after the fight. Man, I felt bad about that. That was a great slam, except you slammed yourself.
Yeah, I don't remember anything from that fight really other than the first round. After that I was just gone. I remember being in the first round and then walking in the field after the fight and I was like, what is happening? But so yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
you were pretty dejected after that fight. You might not even remember it, but I talked with you like for a good 5 or 6, 7 minutes. I
I
was like,
don't
man,
remember
you'll get
that.
it back, and
Don't remember. I That's the first time I'm finding this out that we even spoke at that event.
yeah, I talked to you after. Like, we talked before too, but it was just like, hey, what's going on, man? Go smash him. And then I talked to you after too. Like, I tried to make sure you're okay because I could tell like you were not really with it. And told you to go see a doctor, and you're like, I'm fine. I don't need to see a doctor. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. That I wish someone just like forced me to go. Like I don't know why. Like because I was telling everybody like no, I'm not going to see a doctor. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And then it comes out I couldn't get cleared to fight for like 6 to 7 months. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's important that you go see the doctor. For next time, I make sure that I get on you a little bit more. Like, I don't
Yeah.
feel like I should be the one doing that. Like, I don't really know you that well, but I was really concerned for you at that event. I had two guys fighting on that card, so I was there, and just stayed around to watch you fight. And then, man, like I was impressed by your fight, like, especially since like I know that you knocked yourself out pretty much, and then you still fought on the feet. Like you're taking shots, giving shots. The whole third round, man, like you were a warrior.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I mean, I've watched it back 1 or 2 times, but yeah, it was crazy.
That's that's a lot of heart, dude. Um, you're fighting for the title, man. What does it mean to have a title in like almost every organization around here now?
It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
It's nice to collect the belts, but at the end of the day, man, it's a fight, and I'm looking to have a lot of fun with this, and hopefully, get some more belts after. Who knows? Maybe I just go pro. Maybe I don't know. There's so much up in the air. It's a good feeling though. Getting the title fight opportunities. It just makes the fight a little bit more exciting. But yeah.
Are you ever gonna branch out into grappling anymore, or continue to wrestle, or are you just strictly MMA now?
Strictly MMA. There's some tournaments that I've thought about entering in for wrestling, just for the love of the game, just for the fun of it. But I I'm a MMA fighter now. I literally train twice a day, every single day. I work part time. I make just enough money to freaking pay my bills and live this lifestyle, and it's been paying off well so far. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
I love it, man. You have guys fighting on both cards that are happening that night. You got guys fighting FCP. You have guys fighting K4. How's the coaching staff going to work? Who's coming with you? Who's going with some of your teammates? How's that going to work out for fight night?
So fight night, we've got, it's gonna be Zach going to FCP, just because David Crow, he's a freaking killer, and he's fighting for a title. Same night actually against Laredo. So it's you know Zach's gonna go there, and then I've got my coach Phil. He's like a Muay Thai coach for our gym. He does great with the pad work. He holds pad for everybody. He comes in and learns, and then he goes to the practices with us, hold pads. He shares some of his knowledge. He's a friggin' master with Muay Thai. And then Austin will be in my corner. And then I might have somebody else there. But yeah, I mean, regardless, the game plan's still the same. I don't think really the coaching for me matters. Just because I know what I'm about. I know what I'm gonna do. I know, I'm fully capable, to perform under the lights with my own headspace. So I feel confident.
That's amazing. It's a little bit of an advantage for him, but I don't think it really matters too much for you. And Phil's awesome, man. I did a Muay Thai seminar with Phil. He's an awesome guy. Crew Phil is pretty sweet guy. He looks like he's 106, but he's pretty savage for a little
Yeah,
guy.
the big long white beard.
Yes.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. Phil is so cool. And he's super sweet too. He's a nice guy. He's one of the nicest guys you could meet.
Yeah, I was his partner for the Muay Thai seminar when the last K4 was in, and he was super nice to me. I'm glad he didn't beat me up because I'm old too. And it was a good time. Um, do you think that gives your opponent, Darlin, a big advantage in his mind? Like he's coming in, he's like, he doesn't have his coaches, or do you think it doesn't really matter to him? It's not really a mental game for you two.
If he thinks that's going to be an advantage, I think, that's something in his mindset that he needs to tell himself to win a fight. Um, I don't think he himself is going to look at that as an advantage. If I heard Franchi wasn't going to be there, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that's just another thing that I have on him. I'd be like, that literally does not matter. But if he does in his head, then that's an indicator on my end that he needed something extra to feel that he won the fight. But at the end of the day, I really don't. He's a wrestler. He's been wrestling a long time. He's a New York guy, so I know the wrestling's pretty decent in New York. So he's got a strong mindset. Anyways, he in his view, he thinks he's coming in here and gonna freaking kill me. So
Yeah, I think coaching always happens in the room. And fight night, you really just need a good pad holder to make
yeah,
sure that you're warmed up and someone to move with. And if you have those two things, that's all you really need.
yeah,
Sometimes it's weird if you get in there with someone that can't hold pads good and you don't get a good warm up. But other than that,
yeah.
like that's really all that you need.
Yeah, I also think that the main thing that you need is the most important thing in my eyes is someone that you know personally that can keep the adrenaline down. And because when you're one of the last fight of the night, some people, they build all that adrenaline up before they go fight, and they put too much stress on their bodies, and they tire themselves out, and then you can see it in their performance. I can tell when somebody adrenaline dumps too soon. So I like to just surround myself around people that I can laugh and have fun with, and then that keeps the adrenaline down, that keeps the stress level down. So I think that's the main thing for me.
Yeah, the guys that pace the whole time before they
Yeah,
fight, like
yeah,
especially like when you're the last fight and they've been pacing since the first fight, you're like,
yeah,
man, that's gonna be a rough day. Or they warm up the whole time and just keep hitting pads. Like I know guys like that too, and then they always come out flat too. Like
yep.
all that's too much warm. You need to like be right on the cusp. And obviously you got a lot of fights, so you're ready to do that.
Yeah, you need to get a good sweat before your fight. That's important, but nothing more than 15 minutes is necessary. You need to blow that first wind, and then you're good to go.
You guys both are wrestlers. Have you guys run into each other at any tournaments before?
No, I've never, matter of fact, he's actually wrestled at Fargo the same year I wrestled, but I just strictly did Greco at the time, and he I think was only doing freestyle. But I do know that. So we've been at the same tournament before. That was the only tournament that I can think of. But other than that, I don't think so. I kind of liked to in high school. I kind of only just did Greco, just because I really enjoyed Greco-Roman wrestling, and then after high school, I stuck with Greco and just did Greco full time, and didn't want to go to college for it just because I don't know, I can't stand folk style. I can't stand. I mean, I train it. I understand it's needed, and I'm decent there, but yeah, I just love Greco. I love gripping and ripping. So.
Mason hates those leg huggers.
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting pretty good at leg hugging, but I just like to keep it up top. Who knows?
That's awesome. If you guys wrestle in a collegiate style match, who would win?
I would win. It's Chase is a Chase is a good wrestler. Don't get me wrong. Chase is, he's a very good wrestler, but us PA boys are built a little bit different down there. So I've got to have faith in myself.
I love that, man. I love it. So, what is your prediction for the fight?
My prediction for the fight, you know, it's tough. It's tough really telling because I've journaled every single outcome possible. So I don't, the last fight, I'll give a little bit of an insight. The last fight, I took my journaling, my meditation very, very, very seriously, just the same as I'm taking this fight. I journaled probably, 20 different ways I could have won that fight. But about 2 hours before I even walked out my last fight, I had a little bit of a meditation session, and I put on headphones. I put 7 to 14 hertz frequencies. That's best for the mind when you're meditating. It lets you like believe everything you're meditating. And I just had a vision that I was going to get the finish in under a minute. I was just going to take him down quick, rear naked choke. And I saw every single thing that happened. When you watch that video, I saw every single thing and I swear to God, I swear to everything. Lord, strike me down right now if I'm lying. I saw every single thing, the same exact spot on the cage where it happened. I saw me jump in the cage, flexing, screaming, like so. And my plan was to strike with, Lopez, my last opponent, just because I've been really liking it. I can strike from southpaw great. I can strike from orthodox even better. My movement has gotten better. Like, but I just saw myself taking him down, getting the rear naked choke in under a minute, and that's what I did. So who knows the outcome? I have no really prediction, but I've journaled down several different ways that I'm gonna finish this fight. So yeah.
That's awesome. I can't wait to actually watch the fight. Hopefully, if I see you with the headphones on, I'm gonna nudge you. I'll be like, "Hey, what's the outcome?" And then I'll just do it on the broadcast. You don't have to put it on here. I trained with Lopez a little bit for that fight, and he thought he was gonna be able to keep you on the feet. I was like, "Man, you need to be in here and train some wrestling." So we do wrestling on Sundays, and he came to like one or two classes, and that was it. I was like, "Man, you need to be here every week to even have a chance, because you got to keep that dude off you, man." And people don't understand like how good your wrestling really is.
Yeah, it's a feel thing. It's a feel thing. You truly have to let me get a hold of you in order to feel it. And, that's what a lot of people have said, when they come to the gym or I come to their gym and I grab a hold of them, they're like, wow, like that's like, I didn't realize like the level and the strength, and the positional awareness. Some people, it's a lot of it comes down to positional awareness and response time and making the right adjustments in those grappling scenarios that you can't really train to get better at. I feel like you just have to grapple, have a lot of hours and just know. And I feel like I just know, almost every single grappling position possible, in this sport, to pretty well, not every single position, but 99% of it I feel super comfortable in, that I can make adjustments mid match, mid sparring, that I'm having the upper hand in every scenario possible.
I tell guys this all the time. Like wrestling has so many different levels. Like you wrestle people all the time, and you think you understand wrestling, but when you get in there with a high level wrestler, it's so different. You get Division One guy, you get Mason Lewis, you get some of these guys, man, and you cannot stop the takedown. You have to be able to deal with that pressure, and you have to just feel it over and over again. You have to push yourself in the room. You have to feel it, and a lot of people aren't willing to do that, man. And that you keep doing this at this level is just something phenomenal.
Yeah, that and the chain wrestling aspect. Like I can get in on one takedown just to bait it, to finish the fourth takedown attempt that I'm working, but the entire time I'm two steps ahead of you, and I know, 9 times out of 10 I know my opponent's next initial reaction, so I'm already a level ahead expecting it and preparing for it and transitioning off of it. So I think that's very important as well.
And then the other thing is jujitsu people don't give that enough respect either because wrestling and jujitsu are very similar, man. Like I'm a black
Yes.
belt in jujitsu. I wrestled for a very long time. The positions are a lot the same. The feel
Yes.
is slightly different, but it does not take long to adjust. And guys that wrestle for a very long time get real good at jujitsu real quick if they're trying, man. And I see that in you.
Yeah, I have so much fun with jujitsu. I mean, I would love to do a competition or a few of them in jujitsu, but my main focus is MMA. Plus, comp jujitsu is different than MMA jujitsu in my opinion because of the ground and pound. The flowing is a little bit different because you have to prepare for certain scenarios. You know, but I just think that it's so intricate of a sport and it's so complex that it's just a new puzzle to learn, and I have fun solving puzzles. So
Yeah, it's totally two different sports. I competed in both, man. And like competition jiu-jitsu is so different with the positions and the flow and the weight and the way you ride people is way different because you can't punch anyone. So like the position's a little bit different.
yeah,
But you can do competition jiu-jitsu for a lot longer than you can do MMA, man. So
100%.
yeah, hopefully after you finish your MMA career, you jump into, ADCC and get some medals, man.
That'd be pretty sick. I was actually planning to do the trials a few months ago. I think in September. I think I don't know. I forget when they were, but those things are so expensive. So and I just
Yeah,
didn't
I
really
just had a
have the
student that went
money.
down and did the trials last weekend, man, down in Florida, and it was rough. He's a blue belt, but he hung in there with a black belt, went almost the whole time. It's crazy, man. The level down there is so good. It's such a different level of grappling, and
Yeah.
he exposed himself to it, and that's hats off to Hayden for that.
Yeah, that only gets you better as an athlete. I feel like you have to surround yourself around high level athletes to become a high level athlete. And if he's doing that at that level as a blue belt, then he's only gonna notch up and progress from there. So
Yeah, he everything we worked on, he executed, but obviously, like you're two steps behind when you're competing at that level at
yeah,
blue belt,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
There's no way, but like he did awesome. He got out of quite a few submission attempts. He didn't get leg locked. Super proud of him. Awesome work, and I can't wait to see you there. I really appreciate you taking the time out to come on the podcast and do this. We'll definitely hook you up, and we'll try and sponsor you a little bit somehow with K-Man's Corner, man. You're one of our favorite athletes, me and Ray both. Thank you so much for coming on here. You got any sponsors to plug while you're here?
yeah. So Creed Speed, Corey Reed. He comes to our gym. He trains with us. He trains athletes from all over different sports. He's a great guy. Takedown K9. They're also a great sponsor for me. He always does really well, and he's got a good K9 company that he trains K9s. And then I've got Paul Armoridio. He owns some properties here in Cortland, New York, and he has his own company. He does phenomenal with what he's doing. A guy named Thien that I just met actually from one of my teammates. He was super willing to just help and sponsor me. He doesn't even have a company, but he was just willing to throw me some money for the fight, which was great. And then yeah, it's and then I also have a company not a company. I have these kids that I run privates for. His dad owns a seal coating company, Harvey Seals. So Cody Harvey, they're a great family. They always take care of me, and yeah, I'm very fortunate to be in this position. To get to do what I love and have people give me, money, which they're spending time to make, and they're busting their balls to get. So I'm just super grateful for that. And I really appreciate that, that they can do that for me and give me a path to chase my dreams. It's great.
That's awesome. Well, some of it's because you're a great guy, and some of it's because you're a winner. And those two things together are like why people want to sponsor you. You're going to represent them, and you're a good representative of a lot of people. As long as they're good people, they're going to want to sponsor you, dude. And
Of course.
you deserve all the accolades that you get. And thank you so much for being here. And I wish you the best of luck. And
I appreciate that.
hopefully I'll be interviewing you in a cage soon.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right. Have a great night, man. Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Peace.
Luck, Chase.
Thank you, guys.